Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the podcast that gets excited for blood loss. This is Lost in the Midcard, your post Hell in a Cell pay-per-view show. I am your host on the Twitter at JBHuskers, Jeremy Bennett, and thanks to SpiderDuck.net, we are able to be on iTunes. You can find us on iTunes or any of your favorite podcasting apps. Just search for Lost in the Midcard and subscribe. We are also on YouTube, and you can subscribe to us there. And everything is on our Facebook page, facebook.com/Lost in the Midcard. And as always, I am joined by my co-host, Matt Black, who is on the Twitter at RawFShowtime. Mr. Matt Black, how are we doing after Hell in a Cell?
For the most part, I'm all right. Could be better. I don't think it was a blow-away awesome pay-per-view, but it was solid for the most part. I enjoyed it. I questioned the match order a bit.
Yeah, I thought it was a real solid pay-per-view. Only a couple of matches were a little dull, but ended up turning it up in the end. I think only one true kind of dud on the card. Other than that, I think it was a pretty solid show. Before we get into talking about the pay-per-view tonight, we'll break down a couple of news stories here. Since we won't talk SmackDown on this week's Thursday show with the pay-per-view already out of the way, we will cover the biggest thing to come out of SmackDown, and that is the debut of Prince Pretty Tyler Breeze. It was on Miz TV where Dolph Ziggler showed up, and Miz and Ziggler threw a couple of jabs at each other, and then Summer Rae comes out and says that she wants to get married, I guess, and Dolph thought it was all about him, but no, it is to another guy, and it is the debut of Tyler Breeze, who then proceeds to deliver an ass whooping with a selfie stick to the throat, a beauty shot, and all sorts of fun like that. And so Tyler Breeze looking very strong on his SmackDown debut against Dolph Ziggler. And Matt, what were your thoughts on Tyler Breeze's debut?
Summer Breeze.
Makes you feel fine?
That's what I'm thinking, dude. They put him over strong for now.
Yeah.
But my worry is, how much confidence do you have in the guy when you debut him on a tape show? And is he even gonna win the feud with Ziggler? And if he doesn't, where does he go from there?
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know. I'm worried. I'm worried about him. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, when we reported the rumors that he was going to be on the main roster, it's because he'd been traveling with the main roster for a couple weeks prior, and Matt said he was worried how Vince is going to book him, and we'll see what happens. So far, so good, though. And you like the pairing with Summer, I take it?
I don't hate it. I don't think I feel Summer got the carpet yanked out from under her in that feud with Rusev and Ziggler. Because, I mean, I really feel like she was doing the best she could with what she had to work with. And that's not a bad thing at all. But now it's like, I guess WWE felt bad that they pulled her. They had that Vince had a hissy fit and decided to yank that storyline out, so they had to put her in something else. So they decided to go with this. I mean, it could work. I don't know. It's a wait and see thing. I hope it works. No, I want nothing but the best for both Summer and Tyler. So
she's been pretty good on the microphone too, and during the few months of this feud too. So she's definitely improved on the microphone skills by far, and a great reaction from the universe for Tyler Breeze because obviously he's a heel, so if SmackDown wanted to edit the audio, we would have heard more boos, but we actually heard a lot of chants and a NXT chant, a Tyler's Gorgeous chant, and that's pretty good for, a SmackDown crowd to know a lot about Tyler Breeze, because you don't know how many. We do know there's a lot of people that subscribe to the network, but we don't know, people in attendance and such. You don't know if they are NXT watchers or not. So that was pretty good, and I think added to putting him over a little bit more. Don't you think?
Yeah, it was a positive reaction. The worst thing they could have done is had him come out and get crickets or chant Fandango at him or something like that. So, yeah, I mean, honestly, from the crowd reaction they got, they really couldn't have asked for any better crowd to debut him in front of who they did than who they did. So I think it worked out really well for everybody involved.
Do you know off the top of your head, is Raw in LA tomorrow or somewhere in the California area?
That is a good question. I am not sure
If
where
it's
Raw
still
is
in
in tomorrow. I
LA,
would assume I don't think it's in LA, but I would assume it's certainly somewhere in California.
um, yeah, it might be a good time, a good crowd to bring Breeze out for Raw as well. So maybe have his debut match against a Zack Ryder or somebody, and keep building up that feud. Moving on, we're going to talk about NXT from this week here in the middle of our Hell in the Cell coverage from tonight's pay per view. But there is an update. As you did know, we kind of broke that live when we were recording last week that James Storm made his debut in NXT, and James Storm did not appear at last night's NXT taping, so he will not be on TV for a while. He did appear on the Taz show, and Taz tried to get the story, but Storm was kind of tight-lipped on his future with the WWE. But there's been a couple of pieces about James Storm on WWE.com, a couple of videos. So obviously, this ain't a one and done thing for James Storm. This wasn't a let's see what you got type of thing. Um, but what brought him to NXT, as he said from the Taz show, was that it came about because he's good friends with Road Dogg and Billy Gunn, and that makes a little sense because we saw him and Billy Gunn enter the Performance Center a while back, or actually Full
They
Sail.
were also the Voodoo Kin Mafia in
Mm-hmm.
TNA when
Yes.
obviously when James Storm was there. So
Yes.
you develop that relationship there, and it looks like it's going to pay some dividends long term to James Storm's future career in the WWE slash
Mm-hmm.
NXT.
Billy Gunn and Road Dogg put it in Triple H's ear that Storm was free and clear of all of his contracts, and just to see if there was interest there, and obviously there was. And then we'll talk about more about James Storm's debut coming up, but basically he was hanging out, and then Matt Bloom pulled him aside and asked if he could come down a couple of days to the Performance Center, talk to Triple H, and then Triple H basically flat out said, "Are you willing to appear?" And Storm said yes. And when he was asked if he thought he would never come to the WWE, he said, "No, I was actually really good friends with Dusty Rhodes. And he told me a long time ago, you'll know when it's your time. I've had a couple of chances to come to the WWE before, but I just didn't feel like it was my time yet. I just had to wait for the right timing, and I feel like this was it. I feel like I've done all I had to do, and now it's time to prove myself on a big stage." Then he was asked on the Taz show if he was going to be back in NXT or WWE, and he said, "That's the $1 million question. Not really up to me. My job is to go out there and get myself over. And as they say, it's up to what we call the suits to make the decision of whether to bring me back to NXT or WWE." So, I into WWE wouldn't be doing all these videos and spotlights on him if it wasn't for nothing, right, Matt?
Yeah, if they didn't have any interest, they would just stop talking about him.
Hmm.
Like when the American Wolves had that one match stint in NXT and were never heard from again. There really wasn't any push around their match when it happened. There wasn't any push afterwards. It was they were on TV. They jobbed. I believe they faced the Ascension, and that was it. And you never heard from them again. There's too much going around um for there to be nothing to this.
Well,
So,
to be fair, James Storm is a much bigger name than the Wolves.
well, yeah,
Uh,
I know, but I'm just saying,
mhm.
you would expect to hear more because I mean, there's been a lot on Gargano and Champa, and I would say Gargano and Champa are probably less known than the Wolves are.
Yeah.
So I mean, we got a whole bunch of stuff on those two guys since they've
Well,
been doing shots, and as far as I know, neither of them are signed with the company yet.
I think a lot of that has to do with the Evolve partnership, though, don't you
Oh,
think?
maybe, but you never know. I'm just saying.
Yeah. But it's good. We'll talk a little more about James Storm once we get to our NXT. But some great stuff, and we'll go in a little more in depth of crowd reaction and who he faced and everything here in just a little bit. One more bit here, but one more piece of news before we get to the Hell in a Cell review here. This weekend in Jackson, Tennessee, saw a wrestling match, Matt, where the combined age of the two guys was 135, and Ric Flair was not involved. Jerry Lawler took on Terry Funk, and it headlined a wrestling event. It headlined it, so you can only imagine what was on the undercard.
Should have.
But
I should have never happened. And
why
I'm not trying to be mean to either of those
why is
guys.
Lawler in the ring?
Exactly. Lawler, God bless him, a heart attack survivor, and I'm so happy that he's still with us.
He had to have gotten
Terry Funk's retired probably more times than I can count.
What are you talking about, you egg sucking dog?
Yeah, well, the egg sucking dog shouldn't be in a ring anymore, especially with Jerry Lawler. I I don't want to see these guys wrestle each other because I don't want to see them get hurt.
Yeah, I don't know. It probably was just a bunch of punches back and forth, and then
Yeah, I don't know how the match went, but I mean, if I was told that was a headlining match of an indie show around here, I wouldn't want to go because I'd be afraid of what would happen, and I wouldn't want to be there to witness it.
no kidding. Uh, yeah, I wonder if that broke the Guinness Book of World. Well, probably not. There's probably some ridiculously old guy that fought in a match. Well, of course, then there's Mae Young. Um, but
But that
that
was
got the
under quick WWE supervision, though, and it
Oh
wasn't a
yeah.
freaking main event for crying out loud.
No, I'm just wondering if that was like the Guinness Book of World Records for oldest combined fight, but I'm sure
You
there are
would
plenty of
certainly
others
think
out there.
so.
I'm sure there's plenty of others out there though.
I don't know, man.
I don't know because anything with Mae Young when she was in a match probably jacked that
Yeah, but she was in
age
there
up.
with like 20-year-olds.
Yeah, didn't she
Yeah,
fight Moolah once or?
uh, back in the day.
Yeah, I didn't know if there was like an Attitude Era match between.
I can't remember. I prefer to keep most of that stuff like erased from my memory.
You don't want to remind yourself of the sagging puppies that you saw that one time,
First off, thankfully they were fake.
or
And second
or
off,
giving
no, it's
or
nobody wants to remember that.
or giving birth to a hand, and then the hand and then seeing
Why are you
that
doing this?
and then see the hand all grown up on was that the Raw 1000 show I think. Come on, these are some of the greatest moments in WWE history, Matt.
Says
We
who?
can't we can't sweep them under the rug.
Says who?
It is time for WWE Hell in a Cell live from the Staples Center in Los Angeles, California. We got ourselves a kickoff show to start the event between Dolph Ziggler, Cesaro, and Neville against Rusev, King Barrett, and Sheamus. And I said in a tweet during the beginning of this match, it's a pre-show match of 6 guys that shouldn't be on the pre-show. But the good guys won here, breaking the streak because the bad guys have been winning quite a bit lately. But Matt Cesaro sure looked pretty damn good in this one, didn't he?
They look good, and I didn't expect Barrett to be the one to take the pinfall. I definitely said I was like the heels are going to lose this. Rusev's taking the job, so I was certainly surprised to see Barrett take the fall there.
Yeah, everybody went to European Uppercut City there at that match. Holy cow, that was just crazy, man. Cesaro was just doing laps around the ring, going turnbuckle to turnbuckle, going outside the ring, and that was some good shit by Cesaro in Los Angeles. Applauded him for it. So that was pretty damn good. As we know from the pre-show when Renee Young had interviewed John Cena's U.S. Open Challenge is going to start with the main show here, and so John Cena came out to a rousing chorus of boos, and some smart mark in the crowd had a push John Cena sign.
Eject that fan.
I mean, yeah, I don't know what he's been watching. He's been pushed for a long time. So,
Maybe he meant push John Cena off a cliff.
maybe.
Maybe he didn't get the sign done.
Maybe he wrote push John Cena in the King permanent marker thing, and then in pencil wrote off a cliff in real small letters. So, Matt, Los Angeles is the place to be, and John Cena is the man to beat. So if you want some, come get some. And then we hear some familiar music, real Americans music, and here comes Zeb Coulter.
It's not real American. Let's fix that for anybody who's listening to this who did not see Hell in a Cell. It was not real American. It was the Zeb Coulter Jack Swagger type theme song.
Well, that's what they used for the
Yeah,
real
but
American.
you can't. When you say the real American theme song hits, you know what you're thinking.
Oh yeah, we all
When
thought. Did
cold
you think?
crashing
Did you?
down and it hurts
Oh,
inside.
no, not that one.
Do. That's
No,
real American, brother.
he's been erased from history, brother.
But that's still real, dude. Even if he was erased from history, that's if you're a wrestling fan and you hear real American, that's what you think of.
Not me, apparently.
You're on drugs. You're on some of those Vince McMahon brownies.
Yeah, I guess so. Because he was erased from my memory for now.
Awful.
Zeb Coulter, I haven't seen him
You know
in
who
forever.
I was hoping Zeb was going to burn out? And I know it was a pipe dream, but you know who I was hoping he was going to burn out?
Let me think about this for a minute.
Okay.
Drawing a blank.
Kurt Angle.
Oh, that would have.
How amazing would that have been?
The fucking Staples Center roof would have shot straight into the stratosphere.
Yup, the Olympic gold medalist returning with Zeb Coulter to win the United States title from John Cena.
Was that your initial thought, or was your initial thought Swagger?
I didn't even slightly think Angle until Coulter came out, and I knew it wasn't going to be Swagger. I mean, Swagger's been buried so bad lately. I didn't know where they were going with it, but
he's been on the Midcard of the main event TV show.
Yeah. So I was just like, I know it's not Swagger. This is a swerve. He's burning out somebody else. So as soon as he came out, my first thought was, oh my God, did Kurt get out of his TNA deal? Like, is this going to be freaking Kurt Angle? And
do you believe
sadly, it was not.
Do you believe the hubbub that WWE was the hubbub that WWE doesn't want to bring Angle in for fear of?
I don't know. It's all hearsay. It is the same people that said a year ago that WWE would never bring Del Rio back. So
I still, what would be great is Angle as director of operations.
I'd be totally okay with that. Corey Graves keeps putting his name in the hat.
I know. I kind of wonder. I wouldn't mind that. I think he could be he's already a good heel commentator. Why not be a good heel on screen dude, right?
I'd be okay with it.
Yeah.
It'd be something fresh. Something different.
The dude had his dream yanked out from him, and then learns while at Full Sail. I think it was the first ever takeover special. And he had learned that day that Triple H is going to offer him a 2-year contract, and so he had his dreams yanked out from him, and then all of a sudden he's back in it. So it'd be kind of cool to give him something that has a storyline in it, to where he can still kind of be a professional wrestler, even though he's not going to be in the ring ever again.
Yeah.
You're not excited about the guy that Zeb Coulter brought out, but I am surely excited.
Here's the thing.
Well, let's get to it first. Zeb Coulter, ironically enough, brings out Alberto Del Rio. So it's an ironic pairing, first off, which I like. Second of all, I like Del Rio. He's a great in-ring worker, good on the mic. It just, as a face, he is stale as shit. And so if they can bring it to the level that he was when he first was a heel, much like Sheamus, then great. But I like his persona. I like his in-ring matches. I like a lot about Del Rio. So I'm excited to see him back. And obviously, he should not have gotten fired. So it's good to see him back 14 months later after getting fired. And your side of the fence, Matt.
I just here
And
here
that was not an immigration joke, by the way.
I didn't take it as such. I wasn't even gonna go there. Um, here's the thing. I'm happy that Del Rio's back. I don't think he should have ever been fired to begin with. I enjoyed his run in Ring of Honor. And the stuff I've seen from him in AAA since he's been gone have been good. My issue is I don't I didn't like the fact that he came back on night one and beats John Cena in what I felt was a really mediocre match. As far as Cena's run of U.S. Open challenges go, and Cena kind of went down like a bitch. Because I mean, there's been so many of these U.S. Open challenges that tons of near falls and lots of excitement, and when the match was over, you were like, "Damn, that was a great match." I didn't feel that way at all. When this match was over, I felt the finish was really flat. I didn't think the match was that great, and I feel like immediately injecting him right back into the company and putting the U.S. title on him is a mistake because I
Um,
just feel I don't know it left a sour taste in my mouth that kind of bled into the pay per view. Luckily, the work on the show was so good that it allowed me to forget about it after a while. But I really questioned starting the pay per view with this.
yeah,
I think it should have been something that should have been built up throughout the evening, and I think opening with this was a really bad idea.
yeah. I guess John wanted to start his vacation early, unless he's on Raw tomorrow. Who knows?
He's not
Or
scheduled.
is he just going to disappear?
Uh, I guess they could say he got a concussion from the
The kick.
kick. I mean, Del Rio gave Edge or Christian or Ziggler or one of the blonde haired dudes a concussion with that kick. Probably all of them. Uh, Del Rio's definitely had a history of injuring people.
Yeah, I think
So
the moment definitely trumped the match because the match really, yeah, was not something special.
no, it was
Uh,
really anticlimactic. Like,
there was no
didn't
cross.
you think Cena was gonna kick out?
There was no cross arm breaker. Yeah, I
Like when
didn't.
he went down for the 3 count, I'm like, what?
He won his world title that way, but yeah,
It
normally
was
it's
yeah,
cross
but
arm.
John Cena. This is John
Yeah,
Cena.
it was kicked out of how many
Yeah,
finishers in the.
exactly. So for him to just like lay flat out from that, I was like, really?
Yeah, how many finishers in 2015 has he kicked out?
Yeah,
Let alone.
yeah. That's the whole thing. Like
Yeah.
I wanted Del Rio and them to feel like they've been through a war, and that title victory was earned on Del Rio's return to the company, and it really didn't feel that way. It really felt like Cena wrestled with the boo boo face on, like
Hmm.
almost like he was pissy that they dare take the title off of him when he's leaving for 2 months.
Yeah.
And it just I don't know. It was a really anticlimactic finish, and it really fell flat. And I thought it was the worst match on the show.
There's another title match I think was worse, but I think that's just because the moment of Del Rio coming back trumps what the Intercontinental title match. I thought that was the worst. Um, but yeah, no cross arm breaker, not even a application of it for Cena to fight out of. No STF for Alberto to try to fight out of. I mean, they did tease the arm breaker with the little C chant,
Yeah.
but you know, but I still like the moment. It was a cool moment. The crowd loved it, and I'm glad he's back in the company. And him winning the title, I think that's just a Vince saying, "Yeah, my bad for being a little overbearing on the firing." I think that's probably why he got the title right away. But I agree. I would have loved a little mystery, um, maybe a little teasing of other people for that open challenge slot, and then have Del Rio come out. I agree with you there. Kicking off with it, but still, I mean, kicking it off with a bang with the return of Del Rio, where nobody saw it coming, is also not a bad thing either.
Well, PW Insider reported about 2 weeks ago that there was a lot of talk that he was coming back,
Mhm.
and
Oh,
they nailed it. They were dead on.
while Coulter was talking, he tweeted that he was back.
Yeah, I
By the
know.
way, I don't.
Somebody retweeted it on my timeline while Coulter was talking. 'Cause
I didn't
I
see
don't
it.
follow Del Rio. But somebody
I do.
retweeted Del Rio when Coulter was talking. So I already knew who was coming out.
Yeah, I didn't.
I'm sure WWE was thrilled that he put that out there.
Yeah, I didn't see the tweet until after the fact, but yeah, kind of funny timing there. Um, the Authority is in the office talking with Seth Rollins. Kane shows up in his suit, and Triple H says this is a private meeting, and Kane's presence isn't required. Poor Kane, being left out of the party.
Boo-hoo.
Second match is already time for Hell in a Cell match number one, and both Hell in a Cell matches tonight were phenomenal and did the job. And Reigns and Wyatt, they definitely showed me something with this one tonight. Um, that they could, be in that main event spot. This could have been the main event of a card, and we could have gone home happy with the way these two put on the match. You agree?
Oh yeah, dude. Freaking Reigns and Wyatt tore the house down. And
Mm-hmm.
honestly, it really helped me as the match progressed to get back into the show because I was just feeling really meh about the U.S. Open Challenge, and luckily, Reigns and Wyatt worked their asses off, and were able to bring me back into the fold, so to speak, with their work, and help turn the tides of the show overall.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the holy shit and this is awesome chants are definitely getting way too played out because like they started doing the holy shit chant when Wyatt did kind of his one arm slam, kind of similar to what Samoa Joe does, throwing Reigns through a table. I'm like that's not really a holy shit moment, It's a cool spot. Guy goes through a table, but it's not a holy. Not every table spot's a holy shit moment.
Well, the crowd is trained at this point.
Yeah, and this is awesome.
Like any move like that is either a holy shit or this is awesome.
Yeah, and this is awesome. Hold on, just wait. That we're still early
Wait
in
a
the
minute.
yeah, but man, the guys had their working shoes on for this one, and I don't know why we don't get Wyatt in more matches than he does. I don't know if Vince is just trying to hold him out as a more of a special attraction type of thing, but I don't know. But there was a holy shit moment though when Reigns speared Wyatt through the table. I thought that was not as good as the announce table spot, but still that was a pretty fucking good spot. You agree?
Yeah, it was good shit, dude.
So basically battling all over the ring, doing laps around the outside of the ring, smacking each other with kendo sticks and chairs. Lot of great shit. Wyatt hits Sister Abigail on Reigns, but only for a 2 count. And Wyatt starts laughing and attacks with kendo sticks. Set up a couple of kendo sticks, kind of up against the turnbuckle there to kind of like just basically stab with the intention of stabbing Reigns somehow. Reigns fought out of the attack and knocked the spear in for the W at 22 minutes and of an excellent match between these two. Uh, when you were talking about the order of the card, did you think this was too early on the card, or good that it was this early?
Actually, I wanted Reigns and Wyatt to open the show,
Okay.
and Taker and Bray to not Taker and Bray, Taker and Brock to close.
Oh, don't go
Because
spoiling
I
on it.
know
Don't go spoiling.
I'm sorry. I just feel if you're gonna have two Hell in a Cell matches, one should open the show and one should close it.
Yeah.
I feel like the U.S. Open Challenge should have occurred at like 9:30, 9:45. Build that up a little bit,
Hmm.
and get people hyped throughout the night. Still, keep the social media debate going of who's it going to be, and and put some good work in there to get people hyped beforehand. I just felt it was a bad. I just feel it was a bad spot on the card.
So if they would have been playing this out and it would have been Del Rio, would you have been a little more excited, or it wouldn't have mattered the placement on the card of the match?
I think it would have been. I think if it would have been in another spot, I would have been more forgiving.
Mm-hmm.
Because as soon as I heard it was first, and I tweeted this out as soon as I heard that was the opening match, I'm like, by placing this match first, you are setting a precedence for this entire pay per view, good or bad, by whoever John Cena's challenger is. And I feel, I really and truly feel opening the show with Cena and Del Rio was a mistake, and
Mm-hmm.
I stand by that.
Yeah, I see both sides of the coin. I'm okay with it being first, but I see how it could be better if it was further on in the night. There is a commercial for Survivor Series, the last of the big four pay-per-views for 2015, and it's got a tagline: "25 years of Undertaker." So Matt,
Ballsy,
I assume
ballsy,
take I assume Taker's going to be part of this. And why do you say ballsy?
because you're announcing the Undertaker's going to be at the Survivor Series, and he had to get through Hell in a Cell with Brock Lesnar first.
Yeah.
As soon as they announced it, I was like, "Damn, dog, hold on."
Hold on, player.
Yeah, you have to go through Brock and Hell in a Cell first. Shouldn't you be waiting to advertise the Taker for the Survivor Series after making sure he gets out of this pay per view? Okay.
Try not to get concussed, right?
Yeah, exactly. I was a little worried about advertising Taker for next month's pay per view before he even got done with this one. So
With 25 years of Undertaker being celebrated at this year's Survivor Series coming up in November, Matt and I are going to take a look back at Undertaker's debut and the rest of the card. We're going to do a retro pay-per-view review sometime between now and then, and kind of reminisce on what the hell they were doing in 1990, because I'm sure there's going to be a lot of interesting moments on that card. I can't even remember the card off the top of my head, so
interesting is probably a good word for it.
yeah, interesting gimmicks, we're gonna say. Um, got a little trailer for the Condemned 2 with Randy Orton. That grab your attention at all?
We did.
Yeah, that was right after the Survivor Series thing.
Man, I don't even remember it.
Must have went to go get a Steve.
Was it really quick?
Yeah, probably a 30-second trailer.
Yeah, I must have been up getting a drink or something. I don't even remember that.
Yeah, did you see the first one?
With Austin, yeah.
Did you like it?
Yeah, I thought it was all right.
Yeah, I thought it was pretty good too. So, um, yeah, this one might be all right. I still need to go see the Ambrose movie.
It was good.
Yeah,
I
I've
like
heard,
the Ambrose movie a lot.
I've heard,
I thought it was a lot of fun. It's a
yeah, I've heard a
really
lot of.
it's a really good shut your brain off and just enjoy a popcorn flick. It's good stuff.
Mm, yeah, I will definitely check it out here pretty soon. Tag team title match time. The announcer said Xavier Woods is not going to be there. He's selling his injuries from the latest uh, table shot that he had, and they show a picture of him at home with his ribs bandaged up and showing the unicorn. And then I saw about 85 tweets of people showing the unicorn, and so pretty cool. So no Xavier. So the matchup is going to be even between the Dudleys and the New Day. Uh, Big E brings out the broken trombone in respect to Xavier Woods, and of course, as they did on SmackDown, they have the XW black armbands on, like as if he died or something. The reason why Xavier Woods was written off and whatnot, he got married. Congratulations to Xavier.
It's very
So that,
cool.
yeah, so that's why he got the he got the table bump for his wedding gift.
When's
um,
he due back? If they said
I don't know, maybe on Monday. He might be there Monday. I don't know. Kind of depends on if they took a honeymoon right away or with scheduling, they're gonna wait. You know, with WWE life, I'm sure he's probably gonna be back tomorrow, and they're gonna take the honeymoon sometime when they can take a break when they don't have the titles. I'm guessing
yeah.
that just kind of be a guess on my end. A little bit of sloppiness, especially with whatever the hell the Dudleys were trying to do to Kofi. I don't know what the hell that was. It was like Bubba was holding up Kofi and Devon was going to do like a leg drop or something, and but then Bubba didn't let go of Kofi, And I don't, what the hell was that? I don't know. But double neck breaker, which I thought was a reverse 3D, but no, I guess that was just a double neck breaker. They were going for the 3D, but Big E hits Bubba with the trombone when the ref was not looking. Earlier in the match, Kofi threw the trombone at Bubba and acted like he got hit. The ref thought about calling for the DQ, but he said, "I didn't see it. We're going to keep going." But that trombone came into play as then Big E used it on Bubba.
Ode to Eddie,
And then,
buddy. Ode to
oh
Eddie.
yeah,
There's a couple Eddie tributes tonight. I dug it.
there was, and then the 3D was interrupted with the trombone shot, and then Trouble in Paradise by Kofi Kingston, and the New Day win with the within 10 minutes there to retain the titles. And yes, the tribute to Eddie with the old what he used to do that with a chair, like he would
Oh, dude, any weapon he could get a hold of.
he'd like slam the chair
Yeah,
on the mat to make it
he'd
sound.
hit the chair on the ground, and he
Yeah,
would toss it to the guy, and then he would hit the mat.
and later on, Seth
And it was
Rollins.
it was so great. I miss Eddie so much.
Oh, I know, me too. Seth Rollins also he's been doing the frog splash lately, so that was another good tribute to
Yep.
Eddie as well.
He hit a pretty solid one tonight too. I thought it was
did.
pretty good.
A sloppy pedigree, but a
He's
solid.
not very good with he doesn't do
no.
the pedigree very well.
Do the goddamn give us the curb stomp back. It's not gonna kill anybody. Fuck.
Well, I don't know. The way Rollins hurt Sting, maybe he's better off not using the curb stomp.
That was a corner bomb, though.
I know, but still.
Look what he did with the corner bomb tonight on Kane when the Spanish announce table didn't break. We both predicted New Day here, didn't we? I think we did.
Yeah, I know. I did because I said I don't see the Dudleys winning the titles until it's a tables match.
I think it's kind of like, well, we gave Del Rio the title right away. I kind of was like, I hope they don't give the Dudleys the title right away. I'd love to see more of a struggle and a fight for them to win their 10th, and then they'll eventually win their 10th. They are going to win it at some time, guaranteed, because
yeah, they're back for a couple years.
They ain't going anywhere. So, do you think? I mean, they're signed on for a couple years.
Yeah,
do you think
it's a couple year, 2-3 year deal? I believe.
Do you think we get a singles run for Bubba Ray? He becomes kind of a Bully Ray kind of guy.
I say he deserves it, but will we get it? Probably not.
I'd loved it. God, I hate that camo.
As long as Vince is still in charge.
That camo looks like Zubaz to me. It's like it doesn't belong here.
Well, as long as Vince is in charge, that's what they're gonna look like, pal.
New Day has been looking strong though, Matt, leading up to the match, and they get the W here. So kudos to them. Who do you think? Who's next in line?
I don't think the Dudley's feud is over.
Do you think that's going to keep going into Survivor Series?
Yeah. I don't think they'll defend in Survivor Series. I think it's going to be. I think the New Day are going to be involved in an elimination match. So that's just me, predicting, but we'll see.
Let's talk about one more match before we break into intermission here from Hell in a Cell. Divas Championship match: Charlotte and Nikki Bella, and this wasn't the level of the NXT girls, but I think this was a damn good match. I think this was one of Nikki's best showings. You agree?
I thought the match was great. They had one or two like little rough spots, but I thought overall, I thought the match was great. The only thing I could have wish they would have had a couple extra minutes, just to slow it down a bit more, sell a little bit more. But I mean that's a minor complaint with the time restraints that they were given. I thought they had a hell of a match. I really enjoyed it.
They still got 11 minutes too. So
yeah, I know, but I would have preferred they got like 15.
Yeah,
that's all. That's all. I think you could flesh it out more.
Great
a couple extra minutes.
Great storytelling with Nikki Bella working on Charlotte's back, to which it hindered her from being able to get the figure 8 in initially. When she first applied the figure 4, she couldn't get into the bridge because of her back that Nikki had worked on, and it looks like she got popped in the nose pretty good too. Charlotte did.
Yep.
Um,
Bleeding just like her old man.
Oh, I think it's in the blood. It's no pun intended, right?
Woo!
Woo! But in the end, Charlotte kind of put in a modified figure eight. I thought that was a badass looking move.
Yeah, look good.
Yeah, that was pretty sweet. So before that though, Nikki did an Alabama slam onto Charlotte into the apron. Woo, that stung a little bit, I bet. But I bet old Bob Holly was proud.
Ugh, who cares?
But yeah, the rack attack by Nikki was countered into the modified figure eight for a submission at 11 minutes. Great job by the ladies. Um, you know, now let's just get a good build and quit doing this teams and tagging shit. Let's get a good one-on-one build.
I'm assuming we're getting Charlotte and Paige next.
Yeah, Paige did come out to the ring with Becky Lynch to celebrate. No,
Well, it's going to be revealed. To me, it's going to be revealed that Paige is the one that took out Natalia,
mhm.
and of course, at that point, Becky and Charlotte aren't going to trust her anymore, and she's going to snap, and then they'll probably do. I would assume Paige and Charlotte at Survivor Series. But you know how much WWE loves to team up their divas, and you got Survivor Series coming up, so
Yeah,
you might have a divas elimination match next month.
it'd be it'd be kind of
Because
a
honestly,
badass.
it's the only month to do it that it makes sense. So
Yeah,
that'll be the one month they don't do it.
yeah, no shit. I mean, it'd be badass for Sasha to turn face and turn on Tamina and Naomi, and she joins it's like they bring out Bailey maybe for one match only, and you have the four horsewomen in a match against like Paige and the Bellas and Naomi. I think that'd be great.
Yeah.
Maybe throw in Natalia and Tamina, and you got yourselves a traditional 5-on-5. I think that would be excellent. But like you said, yeah, the 1 month and the one pay per view where it makes sense, they probably won't fucking do it, will
Yep.
they?
The one month it makes sense to put divas and teams against each other will be the month we have a one-on-one divas championship match. That's how
Roman,
I book, pal.
before we get to NXT and our top five for the month, we'll talk about a little backstage. Roman Reigns sitting there selling his Hell in the Cell match. Ambrose shows up, congratulates Reigns, and says tonight they're going to celebrate. Reigns says we'll see him in a little bit. Again, that just reminded me how pissed off I was that Ambrose wasn't on the pay per view this month.
He
Of
should,
course,
dude. I still think he should have been the one. If you weren't gonna bring someone up from NXT, and you weren't bringing Daniel Bryan back, I think Dean Ambrose should have been the guy to get the honors of taking that title from Cena tonight. I
well,
really I really do.
where would you put Del Rio then?
You just bring him back on Raw on Monday as a surprise.
Wouldn't it be great if Del Rio came out and attacked? Would you have liked if Del Rio came out and attacked Undertaker at the end?
No, oh God,
No,
no.
you would have hated that. Well,
Yes,
then,
that would have been
you know,
awful.
if Undertaker is going to be in a match at Survivor Series, he's going to win. So
Well,
it's the 20.
he's gonna be in a Survivor Series match.
Yeah, that's what it sounds like. It's shaping up to be. We'll talk
But
about that.
but yeah, no, Del Rio and the Undertaker, that would have been god awful.
Well, I mean,
Um,
there's nowhere else to put him. So I think debuting him on the pay per view was good. I think
you
they
could have
got him.
just had him come out tomorrow night and interrupt Ambrose's U.S. title celebration or whatever.
Well,
If you wanted to push Del Rio to the U.S. title, you could have had him come out and interrupt Dean tomorrow night, and they could have done a program with Dean and Del Rio, and I think that could have been pretty damn good.
Yeah,
Uh,
but obviously, I think they're married to the idea of keeping Wyatt's in the 2/3 of the Shield
I don't
together.
think so, dude. I think Roman's moving on to Seth.
Think so?
I think that's what they teased tonight.
Yeah, we'll
Because
see.
Dean said,
Yeah, you know what's
yeah,
next.
you
Yeah,
know
Dean
what's
said,
next.
you
And
know what's
Roman's
next.
like,
It's
I
time
hope
for
so. And I totally think that means, Bray's out of the way now. Now my focus is on Seth Rollins and the WWE Championship. Like I think Reigns and the Wyatt family are done. And I think this is the time for Reigns to move on to the WWE Championship.
Yeah, we'll talk about how all that shapes up here. Our thoughts on who is going to be in the Survivor Series match, and we'll go from there. We'll do that here
Jim
at the end
Ross
of the
had a
show.
pretty good idea on his Twitter account not too long ago.
All right, let's save that for let's tease that. Let's tease
We're
that.
teasing it. We're teasing it. We'll bring it
We'll
back. We'll
tease.
bring
We're
it back
teasing that.
around, baby.
We're teasing that for the end of the show. NXT time since I had to watch my Cubbies lose and get swept.
Told you should have
We
just watched NXT.
oh well, I did. I
Well,
watched
I
NXT
you should
after.
have watched it. We could have talked about it after it happened. It would have been
That's
great.
okay.
It would have been great.
People still live. We kicked off the night with Asuka's NXT debut, I guess you could say,
Television,
regular weekly taping debut
television in ring
against.
debut.
There you go, against the very hot with a new look Billy Kay,
Billy
one of my
Kay.
one of my favorite Aussie
I
ladies.
love
Between
me
her,
some Billy Kay.
I just love me some Aussie Aussie.
She is looking good. If you will.
I'm a Peyton Royce guy, and Matt's a Billy Kay guy, and that's all right.
That's right.
All right.
All right.
Billy Kay did not really. She got a little bit in. Looks like she's
I
kind
thought
of.
she got a decent amount of offense in for as dominant as they're putting out Asuka to be.
I think. Yeah, early on she did just because it was a cheap shot, but
Yeah,
uh,
but I mean they're placing Asuka to be like, the best.
mhm.
So
How did Billy Kay as a heel come off for you?
I loved it.
Good. She looked
I
good.
loved everything about it.
Of course she did.
I did.
And of course I love Asuka's smile, her little creepy smile.
It's dude, it's creepy as shit.
It is awesome. I love it. Asuka though, with the Asuka lock in the end, Billy Kay taps out, but yeah, like I said, a little bit of not quite the jobber job for Billy Kay, so she's starting to get a little more
Jab,
traction.
jab.
Starting to get a little more traction at NXT, and we love our Aussie women that are in NXT, including Emma. Can't leave Emma out, and then Gigi if she makes it. Did they sign her?
I'm shocked they have not signed that poor girl yet.
They haven't signed her
Compared
yet.
to everybody else that they've signed 7 people from the show, and they haven't
Who,
signed her yet.
so whoever they signed, the first guy that got eliminated.
Yeah.
Oh, was it the guy that didn't care about the professional wrestling history? Is that the other guy?
Yeah.
And then Gigi.
Wasn't there like 13 total?
Oh, were there? Oh yeah, there was. Because what's her name? The
That one bitch that left the show early.
the physical therapist chick.
That everybody was happy that she was booted. They didn't sign Chelsea, which I'm happy about because I felt they brought her in as a winner to begin with in the middle of the competition. She didn't deserve to be there.
Mm-hmm.
I
And they didn't sign old CrossFit boy either.
Oh yeah, Tanner. They haven't signed Tanner. Huh? That's surprising they didn't sign Tanner. But I mean, still, the fact that they've signed 7 of the 13, that's kind of crazy. And I got a theory about why they signed ZZ.
Is that is that like the most successful Tough Enough
Yes,
class? Then?
yes.
What's your theory on ZZ?
I think they brought him in to fire him.
Ah, what?
How they said that the description of breaking ground is that dreams would be made and dreams would be crushed and whatever. And that
Fire him on TV,
I think they brought him in to fire him on Breaking Ground.
Ooh, that's cold.
I really believe it. I really and truly believe they brought him back just to let him go on Breaking Ground.
That's cold.
Well, we'll wait and see if I'm right. But the first episode had a lot of Devin Taylor in it, and they're about then obviously in the second episode she's gone.
Yep.
So yeah.
Are all episodes out now? Or
no, just the first just the premiere.
Okay.
They launched it on YouTube this morning at like noon. And now it's going to be a weekly show every week after Raw. So,
do you like it?
Yeah, I thought it was really good.
But
yeah, dude, I'm telling you, man, I think they brought ZZ back just to let him go on this show.
We might I think we might cover that just kind of like what we did Tough Enough.
Yeah, it's only a 30-minute show. We should easily be able to fit it in.
Yeah, I'll get it in this week, and then we'll talk about it for Thursday's show.
Yeah.
Tyler Breeze cutting a promo saying that if he cannot be the number 1 contender for the NXT title, neither can Joe, and that will lead to a match where Joe's probably going to crush him since he's now on the main roster.
Joe is gonna kill you.
Yeah, so I don't, this might be Tyler Breeze's swan song from NXT. we'll see. But now that he's on the main roster, most likely for good, we'll have to see how that goes. But yeah, I think Joe's gonna. It's gonna be a good match, but I think Joe's gonna kill him. Enzo and Cass take on the Mechanics, and this was a pretty decent match, kind of a quick match, and surprisingly, Enzo and Cass got the win. I was a little shocked here, weren't you?
Um,
Considering the Mechanics beat the tag champs, so it seemed like they were going to be next in line, and then they got beat by Enzo and Cass.
I wasn't shocked, but I mean, yeah, okay, I guess, okay,
Yeah,
yeah, okay,
good answer, good
sure,
answer.
sure, why not? And I just found out something. I'm not sure if this is actually real or not. But I'm reading somebody just passed me along that the Breaking Ground premiere that was on tonight after the pay per view and this morning was not the full episode. That apparently the show is a 1 hour show. And the full episode will debut tomorrow night after Raw.
Yeah, I kind of thought that was what they were doing, and then you said you
So
watched it. I was like, "Whoa, really?"
yeah, so they put the first 30 minutes out today, and they did the 30-minute preview after Hell in a Cell, and they're doing the full 1 hour premiere tomorrow after Raw.
That makes sense because it did mention in the kickoff show that it was a preview.
Yeah,
So okay,
yeah.
so we'll catch that full episode, and we'll get that in and let you know our thoughts. So Enzo Cass, maybe they're murking up the tag team championship scene. We'll have to see where that goes with the Vaudevillains still as champions. But of course, the Mechanics got the heat back as they took out Enzo and Cass after the match. Eva Marie gives us a little postcard from Perry, and ooh, she was wearing some nice little lingerie. Looks like she was mighty fine. And she says she hopes the fans miss her, and because she misses us, we all know that, and she'll see us all soon. Here's the moment we've been waiting for, Matt. Sorry about your damn luck. Danny Burch comes out, and that just had made me go, "Oh, this is the guy James Storm is going to kill." I don't even know who Danny Burch is, but I thought it was Marcus Louis one time, just because of the shaved head and small dude. But no, James Storm comes out to a gigantic ovation. The NXT universe knows who this guy is, and this guy is awesome. They chant, "You belong here." I think James Storm definitely heard that and had a big smile on his face. Uh, this was great. You know, this is the old cowboy back, Matt.
Sorry about your damn luck. And I'm so happy he spent the last 15 years on the Independents.
In the Independence. Smack.
Dude, I literally fell over sideways on the couch and started laughing my ass off when they said that because I thought it was freaking hilarious.
Oh man, James Storm comes out with his cowboy hat, no beer bottle, but it's TVPG kids. In his traditional.
He actually said on the Taz show that he would not use beer in WWE without Austin's blessing.
Oh,
so
I bet Austin would say
I think he would. I think Austin would be cool with it, but he made it clear. He didn't even try to take the beer bottle out because he said it's Austin's deal. Unless he got Austin's blessing to do that, he wouldn't do that on the air.
That's very cool.
So
I'm going to swear him and Austin I swear he was a guest on Austin's podcast a long time ago, but I'd have to go back and look. But hell of a debut for Storm. He was great. The crowd loved it. Matt and I loved it.
That one kid in that crowd might have loved it more than both of us combined.
What was that? Which kid?
That kid that marked out in the Finn Balor shirt.
Oh, I missed it. I'm gonna have to go back and watch it.
How did you miss it?
I don't know. I was probably too involved in watching James Storm perform.
Oh, dude, you have no, dude. It happened right when he was coming down the aisle.
Was it?
Yeah, like
Oh.
right when Storm hit the stage, they cut to this kid. He was he had glasses on and a Finn Balor shirt, and he like loses his proverbial shit that James Storm is coming out on NXT.
I'll
So
have to rewatch
yeah,
that then.
you have to go, but dude, you have to go back and check it out because you will laugh.
That didn't stand out
You
to me.
will laugh. I
So,
can't believe it didn't stand out to you because
uh,
even WWE NXT's Twitter account posted a GIF of it after the debut. So I mean, it was definitely the talk of Twitter that night. That crazy, excitable James Storm fan.
James Storm hits the 8-second ride for his
I
finisher.
love how they said, "If you know James Storm, you know what's coming." I'm like, I've never seen him use that move in my life.
Yeah, I thought the last call was coming,
Yeah, last call super kick. Eye of the
but so
Storm.
so many
I
people
expected
use.
one or the other. Like, and he hits this move I've never seen him do before, and I'm like, okay, but I'm
Yeah,
sorry, I know James Storm, and I didn't know that was coming.
yeah. Uh, I was surprised that yeah, but so many people use that super kick now. I I don't I think it's good to have him have his own. But yeah, we didn't know that was coming. And at the end of the match, Storm gets hovers over a broken Danny Burch and says, "Sorry about your damn luck." That was awesome. How about that? How about that video package for Apollo Crews? Was not good.
Oh, it was
That was
great.
that was
It's
just awesome.
definitely in tune to the Finn Balor packages that we
Hmm.
got over the summer before Beast in the East.
Yeah, it just tells you everything you need to know about his life and his background and what he did to get here. And it's a two-parter, so we're gonna get to see the next part next week. So if you've not seen the Apollo Crews story from NXT this week, go back and check it out. It was damn worth it. We get another promo from Nia Jax telling us that she'll be back next week. Thanks for letting us know.
To squishy somebody else.
Oh, the very hot Alexa Bliss comes to the ring with the Sweet Boys, and she gets on the mic and starts bitching, basically about Bailey sucking as champion or something. But I couldn't hear what she was saying because Alexa's so hot. But anyway, she takes on my favorite Aussie Peyton Royce, and pretty good match here. I would say get to see Peyton Royce's her specialty with the long legs and some great kicks that she puts on, and yeah, I had a hard time just following the action in the ring just because these two of my favorite NXT ladies are going at it right now. But the Sparkle Splash gets the W.
She needs to rename that.
Yeah, that's a little.
It's too faceish, for her finisher. She needs to change that.
I don't know. The New Day uses unicorns, so
Yeah,
yeah.
but I mean it's completely different.
Sparkle Splash sounds just teeny bopper. Um, but basically, good match though between these ladies. Hopefully we can. Hopefully these guys can all step it up a notch or two with all the women that have left NXT. So um,
I think they're building the roster down there really really well right now.
yeah, I mean they're we kind of questioned the direction the women would go when you lose so much, but then you got Nia Jax who looked really good. The Aussies are really coming into their own finally instead of just being no name jobbers. It's just a shame they don't have Leva Bates there right now, and it doesn't. We don't know if she'll ever be back. Unfortunately, I think she could her out of the blue camp. Get her out of the blue pants gimmick, or just something to establish her on her own. I think would have been huge because she's such a good talent in the ring. But yeah, they have done a good job of replenishing the talent on the men's side too. The men have lost a few guys too, and you get guys like Gargano and Ciampa, and obviously Apollo Crews debuted at Brooklyn. They're doing a good job of replenishing the roster with all the call-ups. Main event time. Baron Corbin against Rhino. This stemmed from the number one contenders battle royal when Corbin threw Rhino over the top rope in a little double cross that Matt and I saw coming a mile away. What did you think of the Corbin Rhino match? I think Corbin continues to grow.
Yeah, Corbin's looking better every time I see him.
Is there anybody
He's a far cry away from how he was 6 to 8 months ago.
Yeah. How does he even remind you of anybody off the top of your head? I tried thinking about this earlier and I couldn't really come up with anything.
No.
His punches look so good because he's got a boxing background. I think he won the Golden Gloves.
Yeah.
And
I think they mentioned that on Breaking Ground.
did they?
Yeah.
And obviously he was a football player. He only made it to the practice squad on a couple of teams before he quit and went to professional wrestling. But um, him and Rhino have some great chemistry, and it's just a battle of two ogres in there. And Rhino, you know, Rhino just is so good at what he does, being in it for so long, being through the battles he went through in ECW, man. And he still puts in high impact matches where they don't have to be death matches, and Rhino is enhancing the product at NXT more than I thought he would. I mean, I was, you were more excited than I was that he came back, but right now I'm just like the
I
matches.
knew what that dude still had to give. I watched him in TNA. I knew he was going to be a solid hand for NXT, and I'm really glad they chose to bring him in.
And the end of days finisher for Corbin again is impressive because Rhino was going for a damn gore and he caught him and swung him back in for the end of days.
Yeah, dude,
And
it was sick.
oh, so impressive. Baron Corbin, you got to think that Corbin has got to be in the title picture sometime soon after Apollo Crews and Finn Balor, which is already going to happen in 2 weeks. So,
Yeah,
um,
you know what happens, right?
no,
No, okay.
nope, I
I'll
don't.
keep my mouth shut.
All right, as we always do.
Let's just say I think I know the main event for the London takeover event.
Is that in December?
Yeah, pretty
Uh,
sure I know the main event.
okay.
Pretty
Well, I don't
sure.
know. I didn't read any spoilers, so
Pretty sure.
you can act surprised when I am actually being surprised on the microphone. So,
I don't. I honestly, I think if you think about it for about a minute, you know what the main event of the show in the UK is. Just think about it.
well, I'll try to think about it.
Think about it.
As we always do on our pay-per-view review shows every month, we do a top five. And this month it is top five tag teams, our personal top five tag team favorites of all time.
What?
I've got myself, yeah, Steve Austin and Undertaker are not on the list. Sorry.
What? No 2-man power trip.
Oh, that. If they would have, oh my god, if they would have gone with that more than they should have, when Austin and
Oh, they
Triple H were
totally would have
heels,
if Triple H wouldn't have torn his quad.
oh, that was so good. The two man.
That would have went on for a while if it wasn't for H tearing his quad that night.
Was that 01?
I think
Is that
so.
on the network yet? I know 2000 is like the best year in WWE history, and those have not been out on Raw
I
on
don't
the network.
know if it's on the network or not. I don't.
Oh, I want to relive that two man power trip ASAP.
I think it's. Don't quote me on this, but I think it's featured in Austin Showcase in 2K16. I
Ooh,
definitely think there's 2-man power trip stuff in there.
yeah. I mean, Austin turning heel was something he regretted, but they did good work with this, and then when he was heel with Kurt Angle, I mean, holy shit, those are some hilarious
Unfortunately,
moments.
that is not in WWE 2K16.
Oh, there's no playing the Angle wearing the little too small for his head cowboy hat and
No,
playing the
yeah,
ukulele.
no Kurt Angle, unfortunately.
Matt, who's your number five of your favorite tag teams of all time?
Okay, like I don't know how you did this list, and I'm probably gonna get a bunch of shit.
I went personal favorites from my life as a wrestling fan.
Okay, well, as I said, I think I'm gonna get shit from the peeps.
I didn't go with titles, number of titles. I didn't look to see who won the most titles and put them in order. No, I went with personal favorites from childhood to today.
Okay, so all right, we'll see if either of us get any heat.
All right, number five.
Number 5, Edge and Christian. Um, yeah, dude, I think their career not only solo, well, not only together, but solo speak for itself. I can't recall any other tag team in the history of this business who was a tag team first, and then both guys went on to become the world heavyweight champion.
Hmm.
I don't think it happened. For being a long term tag team, like these guys came in as a tag team. They didn't come in as solos. They came in as a tag team. So I'm not talking about two solo guys that formed a tag team and then broke up. I'm not talking about that. I think two people that came in for the main purpose of being a tag team and were both able to break off and become the world heavyweight champion. Man, you know how can you how can you deny it, man?
Yeah,
I think
fully.
yeah, I definitely think Edge and Christian more than belong on any list of the
I
top
fully
five tag
agree.
teams of all
I
time.
fully agree, and they are on my list, but
Sweet.
I will tease that for you.
Yeah, on
Number five, I think number
his
five is going to surprise you. Um, I think it's going to come out of left field. I think,
okay,
but
well, fair enough. Well, let's hear it.
this comes from spending all the Saturdays with my grandma watching NWA, and then eventually it became WCW 91, 92, somewhere around there. My number five best tag teams of all time is the Midnight Express
All right,
with
can't throw a flag at that.
Bobby Eaton,
Yeah,
Stan Lane are the main days. Dennis Condrey was in there as well, but mainly Bobby Eaton, Stan Lane. These guys were the epitome of a tag team working together, and they had the one of the greatest managers of all time in Jim Cornette in the NWA days. I mean, there's been many instances of these guys throughout the years. They've been in WWF even, ECW even, But this is basically the NWA version with Bobby and Stan Lane. This is a tag team I loved watching all the time. Their battles with the Rock and Roll Express and just to name a few, were phenomenal. So that's my number five. Who's your number four?
number four. We just saw him tonight on TV.
Uh oh.
The Dudley Boys.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, Dude, they're like what, like 23, 24 time world tag team champions. They've won gold everywhere. Like they've held like every tag title in the world that matters. Uh, and as I said, one of the guys on the team became a world heavyweight champion.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, Dudley Boys at number four, man. They were and still are legit. It's amazing the career these guys have had.
Yeah, and they'll definitely add one more title to their
Yeah, at
mantle before
least.
it's all said and
At
done.
least.
At least. My number four is going back to uh, my also going back to Saturdays, WCW, NWA. But of course, they go a little further back than that as well. But my number four is the Fabulous Freebirds, a team that should be in the Hall of Fame.
They will. They're going in, dude. If they don't go in Dallas, I will eat my hat.
Yeah, me too. Michael P.S. Hayes, Buddy Roberts, Terry Gordy, Jimmy Garvin. I mean, these guys were probably the first true great stable that ever that came in. I mean, if you ever watch anything history wise for pro wrestling, go back and watch anything with WCCW with the Freebirds of the Von Erichs. It's probably one of the greatest tag team feuds of all time. The shows that these guys put on, the feud lasted over many years. I mean, it never ended and it never got stale. It sold out all throughout the territories. When the Freebirds would come into town, they were money. They were the first ones to really use a theme song too, and they just had this flash about them that just screamed pro wrestling to me, and I loved them. So I got the Fabulous Freebirds at number four, and Matt, who do you got number three?
Number three, Hart Foundation.
Ah,
Bret the Hitman Hart, Jim the Anvil Neidhart. Um, Loved watching them when I was growing up as a kid. I thought the power and strength of the Anvil and the technical ability of Bret Hart. I thought the two of them together were just a really awesome tag team. Yeah, again, continuing with my theme, it seems to be throughout my tag teams. Bret Hart goes on to be world heavyweight champion. The Amble didn't, but Bret did. So,
And
uh,
somehow the Anvil produced a hot lady in the name by the name of Natalia.
it's true. Yeah, dude, I thought Hart Foundation was awesome.
I never was a fan. I do not
Okay,
know
fair
why. I
enough.
don't know. I think it was because my roots back then were WC or were NWA.
See, mine were the exact opposite. I grew up on WWF. I didn't find WCW until I was like probably probably like 8 or 9 years old. Like from like 4 years old to 8 or 9, all I knew was WWF. Like
Yeah,
I didn't know anything else existed
that
until
yeah.
my
So
until
you'll.
my grandfather introduced me to WCW. And
Mhm.
then I started watching, both whenever I could.
Yeah, so you'll notice that as a theme of mine. Any of the old time tag teams on my list are going to be probably NWA, and any of the newer ones are WWE. But my number three is Edge and Christian.
There you
Uh,
go.
minus their solo careers, they probably would have been Hall of Famers anyways, just because of the contribution they had with the Dudleys and the Hardys, and they were just a phenomenal team that was entertaining as fuck, but they could put on a show in the ring as well. So they both had just charisma out the ass, and it was so fun when they were on your TV screen. And when they came back and got on screen with the Dudleys, oh my God, I marked the fuck
It
out.
was great.
Who's your number two team, Matt?
Number two team, Hardy Boys.
Mm.
Just I would like to say that both went on to become the world heavyweight champion, but I don't count less than 24-hour title reign that was taken away on an internet angle as a title reign. I'm sorry,
Well,
Matt. I'm
it's still
sorry.
official though.
I'm
It's
sorry. I
still
don't count
official.
it. I don't count it.
And it still counts.
But for 100% for sure, Jeff Hardy went on to become a heavyweight champion, and their matches with the Dudleys and Edge and Christian, and just their work everywhere that they've been has been awesome. Like you can't think about the Attitude Era without thinking of the Dudleys versus Edge and Christian versus the Hardy Boys.
Hmm.
You can't, and those
No.
three are going to be intertwined with each other forever. And I just
Hmm.
have so many great memories of those three teams, and and all three teams for the most part went on to live for a very long time. The Hardys still around, Dudley's still around, and fortunately Edge and Christian are not. But it's really cool, and I feel all three teams have stood the test of time, and they're freaking awesome.
Yeah, that's my WrestleMania 32 wish list to see the Hardys return and face the Dudleys,
That would
no
be
doubt.
dude, that would be ridiculous.
I have a gut feeling our ones and twos are switched. Gut feeling. Number two of mine is the Road Warriors, Hawk and Animal. These guys, as a kid, they had everything that made you want to be a fan as a kid. They had their faces painted, they screamed and growled and spit blood, and you had Hawk, who was this great talker and just was pumped up all the goddamn time. Then you had this powerhouse Animal. He had this fucking spider painted on his forehead. And I remember shit. I remember these like hardcore matches before hardcore was cool, where they were. I can't remember who the Road Warriors are facing, but I remember like one of them got clocked with a dumbbell or a weight, and I was like, holy crap, this is some real shit. They had some scaffold matches too, that were kind of famous back in the NWA days. Whole package for me to be a fan as a kid, and then to see them have another run in the WWE before Hawk passed was just great. So that is my number two team. And Matt, who is your numero uno
Thank you
tag
for
team?
saying what needed to be said about the Road Warriors Legion of Doom.
I
Number
figured
one on
it
my
was.
list, brother. Hawk and
Yeah.
Animal, the only team on my list where neither man went on to become the world heavyweight champion. But that's why I felt they deserved to be on the top of my list because they were always first and foremost, they were a tag team.
Yeah.
And while others have gone on and found individual success, that's why LOD, Legion of Doom, Road Warriors, whatever you want to call them, That's why they're number one with me.
Yeah, my number one is the Hardy Boys, just because my first true in my adult life, my first true favorite superstar was Jeff Hardy. Um, the obviously the matches that the Hardy Boys have had are just phenomenal. The Hardy Boys as a team, of course, they were still a team when Jeff took on the Undertaker in what is my favorite match of all time, the ladder match for the championship on Raw. Matt and Jeff just have you know they have it. They're brothers. Which is probably the reason why they click so well together. And I was like a, even though Jeff's I think maybe a little older than me, I was like a proud papa when Jeff was actually getting into the world title pictures. I was like, this is my guy, and I didn't ever expect this to happen. And then Matt Hardy, all of a sudden, he had mic skills where he didn't wasn't really used on the mic much in the Hardy Boys days, and that made him grow even better to where that they became a team in TNA. Once I started watching TNA again, and hopefully, I almost think it's a foregone conclusion we're going to see them in the WWE again someday. So that's my number one. Do you have any honorable mentions, Matt?
Oh, dude, yeah, we could go on forever with honorable mentions. I didn't put any.
I listed a couple.
I didn't put any down. Right off the
I
top of my head, if you're putting me on the spot, demolition
mm,
would probably be in there. Um, oh boy, right. It's hard. It's just hard. I didn't plan for honorable mentions.
I did
Um,
just because I felt bad leaving the Dudleys out, but the other five teams kind of were just ahead of them for me as a fan. I had the Dudleys on there, obviously. The Rockers uh, with Michaels and Jannetty. I mean, they were amazing. And then their counterparts in WCW, Rock and Roll Express. Obviously, I was an NWA guy back then, so I enjoyed that team. Of course, the New Age Outlaws are in there, uh, which also was an Attitude Era tag
yeah,
team that
I didn't even think about the Outlaws.
I put so far. I put the New Day in there as an honorable
I
mention.
wanted to put the New Day in there, but I thought it would be way too homerish to throw the New Day in the top five tag teams of all time. I thought I'd get massive heat for that, so I didn't do it. I thought
I put
about
it in
it
the
though.
honorable
I'm not
mention.
even gonna lie. I thought about throwing the New Day in the top five.
I
Um,
put it in the honorable mention just because I think they are going to be around for quite a while. Hopefully, they don't do a Shield thing and break them up after a year and a half.
the
But
only reason I wouldn't have put the Rockers in an honorable mention is because they never won the belts.
true.
And that's really was one of my conditions for putting this list together is they had to have held the titles at least one time,
Yeah, and mine
and
was just a
The
matter.
Rockers never held the titles, so
Yeah, and
that's
mine
why
was
I
just
wouldn't have
a
included them.
yeah, mine was just a matter of fandom. So
No, I get that. I mean, we both had our own ideas for how we put our list together. I mean, we didn't like plan it out like specific. You have to do this and you have to do that type deal. I
yep,
just yeah,
that's
that was my reasoning for the Rockers not to be in the five or an immediate honorable mention would be because they never held the tag titles.
we did have a lot of overlap though.
Yeah, we did. We're kind of in sync. We'll see if we get any heat.
Majority, the more three-fifths of ours matched. Then you had Dudley's and Heart Foundation. I had Fabulous Freebirds and Midnight Express, just because our wrestling pasts were a little different there,
Yep,
different companies.
exactly.
Let's go back to Hell in a Cell, WWE World Heavyweight Championship time. Seth Rollins against Kane. Um, I I just wasn't into this match. I, I was into the feud if it wasn't for the title. And so I knew that just going into this match, and I think the crowd was with me on that because they were kind of quiet. Um, at the first part of the match, I was just like, I don't care. But they did kind of hit a gear, and the end of the match I loved. I liked how they played out the end of the match. Um, but how about that brutal? How about that brutal Spanish announce table not breaking on Kane there?
I laughed.
The announce table turned heel.
I laughed. I thought it was great.
Oh, I bet that hurt like a
I bet it
bitch.
did, but it was funny as shit. Cable's
Uh,
like, nope, not breaking. You're falling down with me.
but I liked it, and of course, good homage to Eddie with the frog splash that Seth's been doing lately. But an ugly pedigree too. But I thought the match kicked into gear. But again, for the title, I just wasn't excited about it. But other than that,
I mean, we all
uh,
knew who was going to win.
mhm.
Kane wasn't getting the WWE Championship. Come on, man. It wasn't like you like there wasn't at any point in this feud where I thought for one single second that Kane was going to win the WWE Championship.
Would you be excited if he reunites with his brother in a 5-on-5
I think
match?
he's going to have to.
Would you like it though,
Oh,
just for nostalgia's sake?
he worked matches with Taker in Mexico against the Wyatts.
He did.
So yeah, I think that only makes sense at this point. You got to do something with him to break him away from
The championship feud.
Rollins. So I mean,
And obviously, cheap suit and tie can is gone for now.
he's
So,
gone. Maybe,
but
hey,
did
dude,
you?
maybe this opens up the return for Concessions Kane,
Oh boy, I
which is
hope so.
easily my
Hopefully,
favorite iteration of Kane in the last 5 years.
Santino orders a hot dog. Did you think the match was decent though, or what were your thoughts on the
It was
match
all
itself?
right. It wasn't great, but it wasn't terrible. I liked it better than Del Rio and Cena. So
And what was the shortest match of the night? Intercontinental Championship: Kevin Owens against Ryback. Pop-up powerbomb by Owens after just 7 minutes, and that pop-up powerbomb was not as impressive as Mark Henry's. I don't think he got Ryback up as high.
dude, my favorite part about this match is that Owens beat him with his finisher. There wasn't a roll up. There wasn't an eye rake. There
There
wasn't
was an eye rake. The announcers didn't catch it, didn't call it.
okay. But it didn't lead to the finish of the match. Is what
Yeah,
I mean. And
it was.
that's what I mean. It wasn't an eye rake and a roll up 1, 2, 3.
Yeah.
Is what I'm trying to say. Because
Pop-up
I'm
power.
sick of those finishes. I liked the fact that some people you want to argue the match wasn't great, but at the same token, they only gave him like 5 minutes, 5 or 6 minutes or whatever. It wasn't a long match. The fact that Owens beat him with his finisher and got the 1, 2, 3, that's what I liked about it. And sometimes you remember the finish of a match a lot more than you remember anything else. And I'm gonna
It just didn't.
remember pop up power bomb 1, 2, 3.
It just didn't seem to. They just didn't seem to have chemistry. And if you're trying to build Ryback,
It's hard to get chemistry when you got 5 minutes to work. Ask a diva.
yeah.
Ask a diva who has to come out and do a match in 3 minutes how much chemistry time they have to work with their opponent. I mean, that's what it is. When you give somebody that little time, you're not going to get a great match out of them. Whether you're a superstar or a diva, it just doesn't work.
It's still baffling that they paired Ryback with Kevin Owens because you're still trying to push Ryback as a fan favorite, and you got all these chants that he does, the crowd chants along and all that. But then you put him up against Kevin Owens, who's a heel, but everybody likes him.
Yeah, but you had, I think the Intercontinental Championship was WWE's way of awarding Owens. You came up, we let you beat Cena, but then we had Cena beat you for like 3 months straight, and
Yeah, but I think
we
it
want
just
to make it
kills.
up to you.
Yeah, it just
Um,
kills the whole momentum that Ryback had, though.
yeah, but at the same token, Ryback really didn't have much momentum. Ryback's momentum was ripped out from under him when he got hurt when he won the title.
Mm.
So when he came back, he was already treading water. I think the best thing they could have done was get the title off of him and rebuild him to something else.
Main event time: Hell in a Cell. Brock Lesnar against the Undertaker. Paul Heyman is alongside Brock Lesnar for this one, and woo, match of the night, in my
It was
opinion.
crazy. It
Oh,
was crazy.
it was what Hell in a Cell needed to be. Uh, Lesnar got thrown into the steel post, which I think he probably had a blade on his glove
No, he
there.
didn't. No, he didn't.
You think he hit the post the hard way
Yes, both of them did.
on purpose?
Yes. No, I don't know if they did it on purpose, but they were both busted open the hard way. If you've
Uh,
listened to the story from Jericho and Batista about the time that they got caught blading and the fine that Vince McMahon levied them afterwards, you'll know that those dudes didn't go out there and blade tonight. They both got
okay,
busted open the hard way. And if they
but
wouldn't
on
have gotten
purpose.
busted, I don't. What you're trying to say? They legitimately slammed their heads into the thing hard enough to bust themselves open? I don't think
Did
so.
I mean, was blood planned in this match, and
No,
did
no,
Vince know about it?
no. Blood was not planned.
I think it was between those two
I
guys.
did. If Vince finds out that it was, they're both getting fined. Have
Because
you ever heard the story about Jericho and Batista?
oh yeah, I
Okay,
know that story.
trust me. If Vince finds out that that blood was planned, they're in a lot of shit.
I mean, because Lesnar did take off his glove and bust Taker open the hard way on with his punches. I think there was. I just wonder if that was planned and Vince knew about it. And obviously, you clean it. You know, you still got the doctor in there to clean it all up and shit. And but I think it was planned.
I will be on the opposite end of the spectrum and say that it was not planned.
Undertaker went to Suplex City a couple times, bitch. Lesnar did say Suplex City, bitch on there. I thought that was kind of good. Lesnar hit the F5 on the Undertaker, but a kick out. Doctor comes into the ring again, and Lesnar throws him over out to the outside. Fuck you, Doctor. I'm good.
Get out of my way.
Um, then of course another interesting spot. Lesnar did fall into the Hell's Gate, but Lesnar was able to get out of it, and then just like something snapped, and he just went to UFC mode on Undertaker there, and some of those were landing stiff. I mean, look, if you look at when he went into that barrage of punches after he got out of the Hell's Gate, there was one particular stiff punch. You could see Taker's face like wave a waffle or whatever. It was like, woo, he hit him pretty good with one of those. And then I'm like, what is Lesnar doing? Because there's a little seam busted out in the ring. I thought Lesnar was under the impression that Taker had someone under the ring and he was like scoping it out, but no, he
No,
pulled
dude,
out.
this was a TNA spot. They did this in TNA before.
Oh, did they?
Yep.
But Lesnar pulls off the ring apron mat, the top part of the mat, and then pulls away the padding, which reveals the boards below. And then we get the exposed wood there. Taker nails a choke slam on Lesnar, but does not go for the pin because Taker's still kind of stumbling. Hits the tombstone on the wood, so to speak, even though Lesnar's protected on that move. Another 2 count. And plus, I don't think they were on the wood anyways. I think Taker was a little too far away. But then we get a low blow by Lesnar.
That
There's
was
the old,
awesome. I
the,
loved it.
there.
I guess I just felt it really provided finality to the feud, and it was
Mm-hmm.
finally getting that revenge for all the nut shots Taker hit him with in the summertime. I thought it was perfect.
Taker's reaction to the low blow. I need to find a gif of the low blow and Taker's reaction because Taker's reaction selling that was great. I loved it. But low blow by Lesnar onto Taker, F5 onto the exposed wood, 1, 2, 3, 18-minute match, a masterpiece. What Hell in the Cell is all about: blood, ripping up the ring, weapons, chair shots, the whole thing. Matt, what do you got? What do you have to say? What do you have to add on that?
It was great. What else is there to say other than that? It was awesome. I loved it. I thought it was a great main event to close out the show.
Yeah, it was. Hell in a Cell sometimes in the PG era has been kind of there's been some great and there's been some meh. Cena and Orton was a big meh. But these guys, both Hell in a Cell matches tonight brought the
Both
Cell.
Hell in a Cell matches absolutely positively delivered tonight.
And as Undertaker takes a long time to try to get back up, tries to sit up originally. He can't even sit to his patent and sit up. The crowd tries to will him along. He finally does sit up. He finally gets on his feet after quite a while. Big thank you, Taker. Chant by the WWE Universe. And then we get the Wyatt music starting up. And all 4 guys, Harper, Rowan, Strowman, and Bray Wyatt head to the ring. They corner the Undertaker, beat him down, and then they kind of carry him off kind of like in a crucifix way. We're all waiting for somebody to save him. I was like, oh, what? Sting, please save him. Ambrose Reigns, please save him.
I'm ready, dude.
Steve Austin, please save. Glass break.
I looked over one of the people I was watching the pay-per-view with. I looked over him and said, Reigns ain't coming out. He's like, fuck this. I'm done I'm done with the damn Wyatt family. I beat them. I'm done. I ain't coming out and sticking my nose in their damn business again.
Like I thought maybe even Lesnar would come out just like as a respect thing and clear house. That was in the back of my mind as I was watching it live too. But obviously nobody came to save him. They kind of carry him off kind of crucifix style. So obviously we're going to get some sort of Taker Wyatt family uh, feud for the traditional 5-on-5 Survivor Series match. I hope Ambrose is involved in it, but we don't know. We'll see what happens there. Um, Kane probably is going to be with Taker. You already got 4 guys there. Who's a 5th for the Wyatts, baby?
I'm not sure, but Jim Ross suggested for the Dead Man side, Kane and Sting.
Paul. God.
So
How about Bo Dallas with the Wyatts? That'd be good. Except he's been booked as a joke.
he is a joke.
They would have repackaged him like they should have a few months ago. It might have been made a complete sense.
Yeah, no.
They'll get somebody.
Maybe they throw Baron Corbin in there.
They'll get somebody on the heel side. Taker Sting. I don't know if Sting's gonna be ready to go, but that'd be great. Ambrose is gonna be a good one.
It would be a minimal match for Sting to have to work.
It would make complete sense. Well, shoot, Randy Orton, who we don't know about him yet.
I don't think, dude.
So he's probably not going to be ready.
I don't think Orton's going to be ready, dog.
Yeah, if he needs surgery, he's definitely not going to be ready. But even if he doesn't, I doubt he'll be ready.
Yeah, verdict's out on the surgery right now. There's no confirmation either way on if he's going to need that or get it. I'm hoping he doesn't. It sucks for Randy. You know, injuries suck. Period. I wish him nothing but the best. You know, I hope he gets better soon.
Orton's a guy that moves the needle, and so I love his character. We both got to meet Randy Orton about God, how long? 4 years ago already, wasn't it? At SummerSlam. So great guy. So hopefully he comes back, and we all know he'll get back into that main event picture soon, and he'll have Bray Wyatt in his sights for the first feud back from injury. Would it be overkill to have 3 Survivor Series matches? Divas, the one we mentioned, and then maybe have the new European stable that's kind of forming?
Dude, I wouldn't mind if they took the entire Survivor Series and made it all traditional Survivor Series matches, except for like the main event, which is the title.
Or all the title matches. Well, you could leave a title match or 2 off.
Yeah, you don't have to do. Yeah, you don't have to do everyone with the title. But I would love an old school Survivor Series. And when I'm talking old school Survivor Series, do you remember how they did it back in the late '80s?
Mm-hmm.
Like they did all the matches throughout the night, the face versus heel teams, and all the face survivors of the matches and all the heel survivors at the end of the night wrestled in the main event. And and I remember one year it was like 3 people. It was like Hogan, Warrior, and I want to say it was like Jake the Snake Roberts or something like that. I'm probably wrong, but they were against like 8 heels.
Yeah, it's like true fashion of what it was originally meant to be.
Yeah, and it was awesome, and I would love to see them do something like that again. I just think that would be really cool. And a really cool tribute to like 25 years of The Undertaker.
You got to think
I think that would be really neat.
You got to think something like that is at least in Triple H's mind.
Yeah,
Vince, who knows what's going through Vince's mind, but
nothing, pal. There's monkeys with the symbols. They hit them together, a whole bunch over and over. It's all that's in my mind, pal. Shut up.
That European heel stables gaining traction, and they were getting over a lot until tonight. So you can tack on a couple of guys on that team and a couple of guys on Neville and Cesaro and Sheamus's, or Neville, Cesaro, and Ziggler's team. You could automatically put Tyler Breeze in there with you could say his seasonal residence is in Monte Carlo, so he's a foreigner. We'll just say that, But so where do we go from here? Reigns and Rollins already.
Yes.
Reigns wins.
Yes.
I would agree.
This is the time to do it. If you want to put the title on Reigns, this is the time to do it.
Not
Yeah,
WrestleMania.
exactly. Don't wait. This is the mistake they made last year. If you want to put the title on Reigns, this is the time to do it. Do not dilly-dally and wait for WrestleMania. The time, if you're going to do it, the time to put the title on Reigns is right freaking now.
Yeah, it's in Atlanta, Georgia, so I don't think it's going to be a Mark City
Home
for
of
the paper.
the WCW.
Well, Turner, where's that? Where's all Ted Turner at right there? Right there,
Billionaire Ted. And
billionaire
the
Ted.
Nacho Man. And the Huckster.
Um, do
Classic.
you figure, um, Owens goes on a team, maybe teams up with the European heels, or does he defend his IC belt?
I don't know.
Guess we'll probably
I
get a
wouldn't
lot.
mind seeing Kevin Owens versus Dean Ambrose.
Hmm.
I think that would be dope.
Yeah. And Del Rio with the United States title. I don't know if he'll probably defend it at Survivor Series. I figure. I doubt they'd put him on a 5-man team. So maybe they put Owens on a team, but
We
have
don't even know.
Del.
We don't even know if Del Rio's face or heel.
Yeah,
Like
he was a face
they really
tonight.
didn't clarify what he was tonight. I think we'll get a better idea tomorrow. If Del Rio's a heel or a face.
So do you think Dudley's get the rematch at Survivor Series solely based on the trombone involvement
They could easily get away with doing a tag team. Uh
in a 5-on-5?
yeah, or a 4-on-4, or whatever they choose to do this year, because some Survivor Series have been 4-on-4 and some have been 5-on-5. So I
Mm-hmm.
mean, whatever way they decide to do it, I mean, they could easily do a 4-on-4, three members of the New Day and somebody else against, you know, three members and somebody else. You know, it would be really neat, and they probably won't do this, and I don't even know if it's ever been done in the history of the Survivor Series, but to have an intergender Survivor Series match
Mm.
and have the New Day, Sasha Banks against the Dudleys, Spike Dudley, and Velvet Sky.
Mm.
I think that would be cool. Fantasy booking, that's what I do. But I think that would be pretty neat.
I am wondering if the Dudleys are not going to be the immediate tag team next contenders. I think it might be the Usos. I think
Is the
they
Usos ready? Are they ready to roll?
very close. The timetable is very close, so I think they may be back very soon. And then we'll see the Dudleys in there eventually. Maybe come around. Maybe they win it at
I wouldn't
WrestleMania.
mind seeing the Usos and the Dudleys tear it down.
Oh, no kidding. I think maybe the Dudleys moment could be at WrestleMania. Even though I want my dream match with the Hardys, I doubt that's going to happen. I think the Dudleys moment to finally get it over on the New Day's WrestleMania, that slow build of them always coming up short, and then they finally get the payoff at WrestleMania. I think that'd be a smart way to book it. I don't know if they're going to go that route, but they may just hurry it up and have a tables match at Survivor Series and they win. Who knows? Well, that's going to do it for this edition of Lost in the Midcard. Lots of good talk about today's happenings and, of course, the direction of Survivor Series, and hopefully Raw clears up a lot of that. There's a lot of excitement, I think, that we got here with everything we talked about and what possibly may happen. I think we're gonna be in for hopefully a fun month as we hit that final big pay-per-view of the year before we look forward to the Royal Rumble, and then of course TLC before that. Before we go, Matt, any last words?
I think, as some people predicted, the road to WrestleMania did not start at Hell in a Cell tonight. I think the road to WrestleMania could officially begin at Survivor Series. So I think a lot of wheels need to be in motion over the course of the next month to make sure that Survivor Series is a can't miss show and really set the wheels in motion early for the road to WrestleMania. And while I'm thinking about it, I got to shout out to my friend Kobe, who produced a really fun game. It's on the Lost in the Midcard Facebook page. Called, I believe it was called Chase the Brass Ring, where you are the brass ring and you are trying to hold it away from a bunch of WWE mid-carders. It's fun, it's addicting, it's really simple. All you need is a mouse. Any computer can play it. Go to Lost in the Mid-Card Facebook page and check it out. I think you'll really like it. He's working on a sequel now. It's good stuff. Check
It'd
it
be
out.
like be like the State Farm commercial. Oh, you almost got it. Oh, you almost got it. Are you insinuating that we get a Brock Lesnar rematch or a Brock Reigns rematch at WrestleMania? Is that what you're insinuating?
I most certainly did not insinuate that.
What were you insinuating on the road to WrestleMania?
I think Undertaker's path to the road to WrestleMania could be decided at the Survivor Series.
Mm. Oh, so we're not talking about title matches. We're talking about who faces the Undertaker.
Correct.
God, I see a lot of John Cena right now, though.
I don't.
That's obviously rumor, but
I don't. I do
yeah.
not see John Cena and the Undertaker. I don't. That God,
Well,
that
that's
was
good.
God. That would be awful.
That's going to do it for this edition of Lost in the Midcard. As always, thank you to SpiderDuck.net as they are our host on iTunes. You can subscribe to us on iTunes or any of your favorite podcasting apps. You can also find us on Facebook, facebook.com/Lost in the Midcard, where you can find that great Chase the Brass Ring game. And also in our notes section, you can subscribe to us on YouTube if you don't have iTunes. And so go ahead and subscribe to us, like us, comment on us, discuss with us. And as for Matt on the Twitter at Raw Showtime, I am Jeremy at JB Huskers. And thank you for tuning in. We'll catch you this Thursday with our reactions of Raw right after Hell in a Cell. Have a good one.